first destination before you even leave the house is iNaturalist.org. You can try your luck with wandering around your neighborhood, but me personally, I don't have queen ants just popping up in my backyard like some lucky people, so I have to put in a little bit of extra work. But once you're here, you can put what species you're looking for into the search bar. As for this video, we're doing Prenolepis imparis, as they are the first ants that fly near me during the ant mating season. Once you're on your species page, they will have a chart stating when they fly based on charted observations. They also have an About tab that basically goes over the geography and biology of the ants. And then they have a Map tab, which will show you everywhere these ants have been observed or spotted in the wild. Basically, from there, you zoom in on where you're located. For me, I live in Lake Forest, and there are plenty of sightings all around me. I like to go to where the clusters are to ensure I at least know they are abundant in an area. So for me, I have a cluster in Alicio and a cluster in Trabuco Canyon. Trabuco is closer to me, so we lock in our location and we wait for a good rain followed by warm weather. And when I say good rain, I mean like enough rain to where it's puddling on the ground outside. I used to go out after a light little drizzle thinking it was enough and came back empty-handed every time. And the second part to that is the following of warm days creating a humid environment. This day came 2 days after the rain in the last clip. The high was 74 midday, and for Prenolepis imparis, this was okay. But for other ants like Camponotus, for example, you want to wait for the 80-plus days. Prenolepis isn't particularly a warm-loving ant. They forage in the cold winter weather, where the other species would be taking a break from the typical ant activity, and during the hot months, they take their break while the other ant species are active, competing for food. Now picking back up, we have arrived to the forest. I take this trail which leads you deep into the forest. As I head there, I like to keep an eye out at the base of the trails for queen ants. They will often be running around at the dirt edge, and sometimes I find enough to cut my expedition into the forest short. But today I arrived before the flight started, so I had to get my steps in and walk all the way into the greenery. Here we have our first sighting of this ant vlog, the Argentine ant. Man, I can't stand these ants. If you watch my intro video, basically I started ant keeping with 2 colonies of Camponotus and 1 pogo colony. And while the Campos died due to my errors, the pogos got invaded and wiped out by these guys. So Argentine ants will always be ops to me. Here they are in the process of opening their nest entrance. Although they are a constant reminder of my tragic beginning of ant keeping, Argentine ants are my indicator that the ants are becoming active again with the warm incoming spring temperatures. As I ventured deeper into the forest, I started to notice these little guys. These are male drones, or the male reproductives of Prenolepis imparis. As I kept going up the path, these guys grew more and more numerous. This is a little further up the path, and I don't know if you guys will be able to see all of these little white specks in the sunlight, but these are all male drones that have started their pre-flights. This is basically the first steps of the mating flight. The male ants leave the nest first and begin flying all around the area they occupied, and are later followed by the queen elates, which is when the mating takes process. So I had a little bit more time to wait before the queen started to surface. I was able to locate a nest in the bushes. I couldn't pinpoint the nest entrance to see if the queen elates were peeking out yet, but I was able to capture the activity of what goes on around the nest during the time of these flights. The males are locating a good spot to take off from, while on the ground the workers are patrolling the area for rival insects during these flights. They protect the sex reproductives while they carry out their mating procedure. So I've reached the point of the forest where there's no more paths and there's just basically forest all around. This is usually where I find queens at the bases of the trees or running across the leaf littered floors. I don't go much deeper than this because, like I said, there's no paths and I'd rather not get lost. They don't have connection down here, so I can't use my phone either. So I play it safe because I'm not bobcat food and I got ants to take care of. So I check the tree bases and flip over any rocks. Sometimes I'll find other species like Camponotus or Solenopsis queens deeper into the season. But during this time right now, more Argentine ants. Despite my hatred towards them, the queens of this species is very beautiful, but I still don't collect them. Once an op, always an op. I'm not switching sides. So here, just a few feet away, this swarm of males caught my eye, and I didn't notice while I was recording this clip until after I stopped recording. They were mating with the queen. Here she is after I noticed her. She will mate with multiple males to ensure she can go on to start her own colony. Soon after the males finish mating, they fall off of the queen and die. So for most of these guys, this is some of their last moments, but they are filling a vital role. I ended up catching 11 of these girls before I decided to head home to eat lunch. I got hungry from the long hike up to this point in the forest. They were all in the same leaf-littered area, just a few feet away from each other, like this queen here mating with multiple males. I didn't record catching them because they would finish mating and immediately head down into the leaf litter to reach the moist dirt below to start their founding chambers. So I was grabbing them before they started heading down. Now that I was back home, I needed to imitate a founding chamber for the queens. You can do that in multiple different ways, but the best way is the test tube method. Basically, just fill a tube halfway with water. Get 2 cotton balls. One you're going to push down into the water, and the other will serve as a cap for the tube and ventilation for the ants. Once you got your tube set up, you can put your queen in there and leave her in a dark place to do what she does best. And here at this point, I realized I never recorded them after I got them in test tube set up. So here they are about a month later after catching them. I made one group of 5 and 6 solo queens. I did this because the ants are very hard to find. They take a really long time to get their first generation of workers and often don't live out the process. As you can see what I said, I caught 11 of these, and now we're already 1 month into founding and down to 6. And the solo queen doesn't look like she's gonna make it much longer. But the 5, they look pretty healthy with full gasters and 2 laid eggs already. So maybe this will be the first founded colony of Prenolympus for me. A few of them shedded their wings and a few of them didn't, but all of the queens had full gasters and I seen them all mate. So I'm not sure if they didn't shed the wings because I grabbed them right away or if they're waiting. But I've seen other colonies where queens have full colonies and still have their wings, so we'll see what happens. I check on these founding queens monthly, not to disturb them or vibrate them too much. But basically, with all that said, that's all for this ant vlog. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If any of you new ant keepers were watching, I hope you learned something new. Stay tuned for the next videos. I hope you guys have a good day, and I'll see you next time.